Yeah, so let's just talk about the defensive line right now. So I think that the addition of Leonard Floyd is huge because I think that that could be a signal that Von starts on the PUP list. Maybe the first 4 weeks, they start him out slow and then they work him in because you don't want to rush him because the Bills are at the point where they can play for February. And I know every week matters, but the way that they shift their season, they have one goal in mind, and that's playing in February. Years ago, during the drought, every single week mattered. And obviously, I know I just said every week matters. But
it's kind of a catch-22, right? Every week matters, but some weeks they don't matter, and some weeks matter more.
Yeah, but the difference here between McDermott's Bills and any other previous Bills, like with Rex Ryan, is that you think that this team is going to be playing into January and February, and you have that in the back of your mind where you say, you know what? Let's not rush Von back because we need him in late January and February. Whereas if this was years ago, you might say, we really need Von so we can at least get to the playoffs. The Bills can get to the playoffs without Von Miller, but can they win the Super Bowl without Von? So I think that they're doing everything with the Super Bowl in mind. And when they bring a guy like Leonard Floyd in, someone who put up 29 sacks in 3 seasons in LA, that is a huge veteran presence right there who you can put on the bookend with Greg Rousseau, and he could be a placeholder until Von is 110% healthy.
Well, I don't even think he can be a placeholder. I think he could be a highly functioning contributor. And like, for all the discreditation I just did with Von and his like junior GM status he has right now, you have to think that he had some, social influence in getting Floyd on the, on this team. Because, he is the lens eye to like, hey, man, we really do it right here. We have top-notch facilities, and we're out to win one. So for all the pooping on Von I just did, like that's one of the things that, it's indelible, his success here and how much he wants to be here because he's recruiting and advocating this team for others to join and add value to it. So I hope to see Von. I don't know. I hope to see Von where we're ready and when we need him. I think that's I know that's a little ambiguous, but I think that's, that's kind of where we're all at,
Now, John says that he read that Phillips will start the season on the PUP list. I haven't heard anything about that. I know that he was battling through injuries last year, so that could be another name to watch for. But really, as much as I love Jordan Phillips, I'm not worried because the Bills really built up that defensive line. And speaking of Leonard Floyd, the other big addition right after the draft was Poona Ford. And he's that big one tech where I was looking at the depth chart earlier. Right now, it looks like Daquan Jones is a starting one tech. Ed Oliver, they got him on that big extension. Those are your first 2 defensive tackles. Then you have Poona Ford and Tim Settle. So really, not that the Bills don't need Jordan Phillips, but they can afford to not be with them for those first 4 weeks for the point that I was just making. You don't want to rush him into it. They don't absolutely need him on week 1. You need someone like Jordan Phillips for the push down in December and January.